Anybody, an individual that is, an organization, a state, can write to the International Criminal Court and say that they believe that there is an issue of concern. They believe that war crimes have been committed, crimes against humanity, or genocide has been committed. And they can give whatever information they have on the matter. Now, the International Criminal Court, one of the things they'll do is look at where these allegations are said to have taken place. If it is within a member state, then there's a process that is triggered immediately. If these allegations have not taken place within a member state, then the only way the ICC can actually begin to actively look into the situation is if there is a resolution from the United Nations Security Council referring a particular case to the International Criminal Court. Whichever path is followed, the first step is this information is presented to the prosecutor. The prosecutor then begins what is called a preliminary examination, which is the office of the prosecutor analyzes whatever information is available on the matter and determines whether it is worth pursuing or not. If it is worth pursuing, then the office of prosecution may open an investigation. This is now when formally the International Criminal Court is actively involved, because then now investigators from the office of prosecution go to the relevant country to get information, to verify the information they're being given, to get other information, and this they do by interviewing all sorts of individuals and also seeing where they can get official records where necessary. Then the Office of Prosecution draws up charges. And once they draw up those charges, then they present them to a pretrial court, a pretrial chamber. Now, the pretrial chamber is the first sieve, as it were, or first filter at the judge's level of any criminal case that is brought before the International Criminal Court. And what the pretrial judges do is satisfy themselves that the evidence the Office of Prosecutor says it has shows that there is substantial grounds of criminal acts having been committed. They do not make a determination of whether the individuals named in the charge sheet are innocent or guilty. They do not make any judgment on even the credibility of the evidence in terms of whether they feel the evidence is strong or weak. They just look at whether, for instance, if an individual is accused of crimes against humanity, organizing an attack on a village, whether that evidence is based on the testimony of one witness or several witnesses, whether that evidence is based on photographic evidence and other evidence. And on that basis, they determine there are substantial grounds for the case to continue to trial or not. If it is the recommendation of the pretrial judges that the case continues to trial, then a trial chamber is then appointed to handle the case. And then now the case goes before trial. You have witnesses who testify, prosecution leads them in their evidence, defense cross-examines them, and then the judges reach a decision. Now, both at the pretrial phase and the trial phase, one of the things that the International Criminal Court does is it provides legal aid for individuals who either cannot afford to hire a lawyer for themselves, that is the defense, the person who's being brought before the court, or if, for instance, an individual who is wealthy but has been arrested and his assets seized, they provide legal aid to the extent of the need for this person to defend themselves. If the person is found guilty, then their assets are used to pay for the cost of the case. If they're not, then that's a separate matter. And the third important thing is the focus of the International Criminal Court is on victims of the crimes that are alleged to have been committed. So victims have a role in the process from the pretrial phase through the trial phase. They don't present evidence, but they tell their story. They tell how the crimes that are alleged impacted them. And if a guilty verdict is issued by the court, then they are eligible for reparations. And the reparations may be from any asset seized from the individual who has been accused, or from what is called the trust fund for victims.